Alright guys, let's get this out of the way. Assembling and building lithium battery packs can be dangerous and should only be attempted by qualified persons with proper knowledge and safety of these type of batteries. This video is meant for informational purposes only. Do not try this at home. What's up guys? I wanted to make a start to finish, truly in-depth video on this because there's a lot of videos out there that don't show everything. I'm also going to put links to the tools I use in the description, as long as where to purchase these batteries. Now, I did not get sponsored by this. I bought these batteries from Big Jeff Audio. They have a great deal on them. They come with a package deal, as you can see here, where you can select different bus bars, different balancer options. And if you use my coupon code HiFi Vector at Big Jeff Audio, you can get a discount. So pretty much it makes it the cheapest place to get these. And again, the coupon code is HiFi Vector. There's ILS bus bars, Jim's bus bars, so you guys can figure out which one you like. But this is going to be a long video. The purpose was really to do an in-depth start to finish, where I think a lot of the other videos left stuff out. So hopefully if you guys are looking at an LTO bank, this will really be helpful and point you in the right direction. And again, be safe, because these are powerful cells. Any little oops, any little accident can be a big problem. So let's go ahead and get started, and this will be a long video. If you guys appreciate my time, please like and subscribe. That would really help me out. But let's go ahead and get started. What's up guys? I wasn't going to do a video on this, but I figured, hey, might as well, maybe someone will find it helpful. So I bought these from Big Jeff Audio, and these are the 40 amp hour Yinlong cells that they're basically XS branded. So I bought, they had a great deal. They had a 12 pack with the balancers and with the assembly kit for like 900 bucks. With the balancers, and they actually gave you two balancers, so if you wanted to do two separate 40 amp hour 12 volt sets, but I'm going to do an 80 amp hour. So I was trying to figure out a way to balance these without stripping a bunch of speaker wire like some guys say. So I checked all the cells. Some of these, actually lined them up. Some of these over here were 2.4. These were pretty much all 2.4, and then these two were like 2.35, 2.3, and I had one. These two over here were like 2.25 volts. So when I ordered these from Big Jeff, they came in these styrofoam things that just sit perfectly in there. So I thought, what if I just take some baling wire you can get from like Home Depot, which I had laying around. And these cells are pretty heavy, so I just laid it down all the way across to balance these cells. And I did the same thing on the positive side, and it kind of worked out. This foam that they come packaged in is like a jig, so I just ran it all the way down to equalize the batteries. So, and I have the voltmeter connected on the side that's lower. See, it's 2.247 volts. It actually started out at 2.2, so it actually went up 0.04 volts in about 5 minutes. So what you want to do is just check until, let this sit. Sometimes it might take 24 hours, sometimes 8 hours, till all the cells kind of backfeed into each other and equalize out to where they're all the same voltage. So before you assemble it, that's what you want to do. So you might not have this many, but that's how you do it. Just positive to positive all along, and then negative to negative. Make sure you don't mix anything up with these things, because they're really high power cells. And then you just let them sit. Alright, but I'll keep you updated on the progress. But we're at this stage right now. The next stage will be assembling. And this is I think it's ILS Customs, or I'll have to check. But this was the basic kit, and it looks pretty nice for basic. It's actually all milled finish and everything. It's not all plain bar stock looking, so Pretty nice setup from Big Jeff for like 900 bucks for this whole setup with 2 Heltec balancers. So, alright. I'm going to show you guys how to assemble it later. But one thing I wanted to note is on these balancers, see how it says LTO down here? There's 3 little tiny solder pins, and they come with the right and the center pin soldered. That's for like lithium phosphate and lithium ion. You have to desolder that, and you need to solder the little tiny left LTO pin to the center. So don't forget to do that. I'll show you how to wire up this balancer after we get done with this balancing all these cells, but I just wanted to mention that right off the bat. Okay, and the whole reason that you need to balance these cells before you just hook them up to the balancer and or charge them is because the balancer can only handle small amounts of current. So you have to first equalize all the cells by doing this and letting them sit for approximately 24 hours to where each one, what it will do is kind of equalize out. The weaker ones will get charged by the stronger ones and vice versa. So that way when you hook up the balancer, it's not going to put an overload on the balancer to try to disperse large amounts of energy from the weak ones to the strong ones. So that's the whole reason why you have to balance these before you charge and even before you hook up your balancer to them. Alright guys, so we're going to, what I talked about earlier, we're going to desolder the center to the right pin, and we're going to solder the left LTO to the center pin. When you use a soldering iron, use a very small tip because these pins are super small. Use if you can, a cheap desoldering gun. I'll put a link below for like a cheap good soldering iron that I used to have, because I know a lot of guys, you know, buy this kind of stuff once, so you don't have to buy something expensive. So alright, so let's get going and I'll show you guys how to do it. Okay, so how these things work, you just cock it. Basically it's just like a little air pump. So when you cock it, when you press that button, it's going to suck the solder out on this end. So what you're going to want to do is heat up the solder and stick this on there and press the button real quick, and it'll suck the solder out of there to get it out of your way. Sometimes you gotta do it a couple times. Alright, so that's all it took. So now we have the pin showing, and it's okay if there's a little bit of solder on there. You just don't want any continuity between the two. And then we're just going to solder the left LTO pin to the center. Just like that. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? So we got the left LTO pin and that center pin. And that right pin now, there's nothing hitting it. You want to make sure all your solder's clear so there's no continuity. So that's how you solder it and get it ready for the LTO cells. Next thing, we'll get the balancer all hooked up and wired, and I'll show you guys how to do that too. Alright, and this is the Heltec balancer pigtail. The older ones did not come with the pigtail, the new ones do, so that's nice. This is really good quality silicone wire too. Okay, so now we got to put our ring terminals on. So we're gonna strip them If you guys don't have one of these strippers, look at that. Love this thing. Well, I won't strip them all. So we're going to go ahead and strip these. And you want to do that with all of them. Make sure they're on there real good. Give them a good tug. If you guys want links to these tools I'm using, I'll put them in the description below. The stripper is awesome. I actually have 2 of those. This crimper is bitchin'. It comes with a set of like 8 different teeth for all different kind of crimps. So it's really nice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just put our ring terminals on all of these. And then we'll be ready to install the BMS onto the LTO pack. Alright, so we got all these ready to go. Here's that kit I was telling you guys about. See how it comes with 5 sets of jaws for all the different kinds of crimpers. So, and it does wire ferrules. So, and it comes with a nice pair of cutters. And they work. I ordered some stuff from Amazon. It's not that good. These things are bad. Alright, enough with that. Alright guys, well it's been about 20 hours and all the cells are pretty much equalized. They could be, as long as they're within 0.1 volt, they're okay. If you want to let them go a little longer, you can. So these have been sitting for about 20 hours. And then just to check on things, just check the voltage of each cell. So we got 2.32 on that one, 2.36, 2.35, 2.34, 2.35. So you can see they're all very close. So now they're ready. Once you get all the balancing done, now it's ready to assemble the packs. So let's get started on that. Okay, so then now we have our IL Customs basic kit here. So now we're going to install the cells now that they're balanced. And I had made a little cheat sheet here just so you know you don't have to think too much. You just be careful and assemble it. Also a little picture from LAF Plastics that makes these acrylic cases for these, which I actually ordered one for this. That's a good picture because it shows, you know, the orange positives and the black negatives, how you wire it. And I'll put a picture of this up at the screen if you guys want to print it out or use it. But let's go ahead and get these things assembled. Okay, so basically you're going to start on one end and just be extra safe and careful, guys. These are powerful cells. So make sure you got the positive in the right position. Again, this is a good picture. I'll post this whole sheet up just for the balancing wires, and it just helps you kind of look at it and keep track of it, because I know guys who built these and had one oops, you know, and these things put out a lot of power. You can get hurt. So just start assembling them. It's hard for me to hold the camera, but then we're just going to go through negative, positive, negative, positive, and it's going to be like in a chain. Alright guys, so here's the bottom. Let me flip it over and I'll show you the top. Alright guys, and here is the top. So now we just have to hook up the balancer and we're ready to go. Guys, so we got our balancing harness hooked up. So the black wire always goes to the negative and it goes in order. So we got the black, the yellow next to it goes to the next, the wire next to it goes here, which is white. The next wire, which is blue, goes down there. Next wire, which is green, goes there. Next wire, which is yellow, goes there, and red goes there. Again, just like my little handy dandy chart I made. So we got it all hooked up, got the pigtail ready, so now we're ready to plug in the balancer and charge it up with its full regular charge. Alright, so we got 14.13 volts now with the whole pack assembled, and I didn't mount it yet. I'm waiting for my acrylic case to come in that has a mount for this, but we got our balancer hooked up. You can see the little yellow LED down here by my pinky is on. So technically, however you want to mount your balancer and the enclosure, I definitely recommend making an enclosure out of wood or something non-conductive. I ordered one, and I will show you when I get it here on the next part of the video, from LAF Plastics, an acrylic case. It was like 120 bucks, and you glue it together. But you definitely want the protection. If anything hits a couple of these terminals, zap. So really important to make a good enclosure. Don't put one of these things anywhere where you're going to have pieces of metal or anything in your trunk falling on top of them. So just be real careful with that. Alright, well, let's wait till we get the case going, and I'll show you guys this thing when it's fully done. Alright guys, so now that we have the balancer hooked up, if we check the voltage now, all these are going to be pretty much equal because the balancer. So when we pre-balanced them, or we wired them together, we got them all close within like 0.1 volt. So now we can see if we check all these, now that we have the Heltec balancer hooked up, 4.847, 4.84, 4.84. So that's what the balancer does. Basically, if a set has higher voltage, it will redistribute it to the lower voltage cells to equalize them out. But that's why you want to pre-balance them, because you know these are small. They're not meant to carry high voltage if cells are way off. So that's why you want to pre-balance them. You know, get them within 0.1 volt, and then the balancer will do the rest. And I'm just, with everything hooked up and the balancer hooked up, I'm just doing a slow charge on it. Its first charge. Guys, I will put a link in the description for this charger. It is very nice, and it actually charges LiFePO4, lithium, AGM, lead, and it has low, medium, and high up to 20 amp charge rate. And it's great for lithium because it actually shuts off when the battery's charged. Because LTOs and LiFePO4s don't like to be constantly float charged. Once they hit their charge, they should be shut off, because it's not good for them to constantly stay at 100% charge all the time. So again, I'll put a link to this charger, but it's really nice. Not only can you use it for your cars, but it does lithium properly. A lot of them don't shut off, and believe me, I've tried a few from Amazon. So that's a great charger. Well, let's just get this thing topped off, and then when I get the case here, we will assemble it and see the final product. Okay guys, and the acrylic case came in from LAF Audio. You know what that stands for, but I ain't gonna say it. So this is pretty basic. You just peel off the protective covering, and they give you some glue, and it's all just jointed. So literally the slots just fit in. So what you do is you get all the protective covering taken off, get it put together, and on the outside you can hold it together with masking tape. So get all the sides together, use masking tape to kind of keep it together, line it up, and then you just run a bead of this glue that they give you, you know, on the sides. Let it dry for 5 minutes, and it'll tack up enough to where it won't run. Then you can flip it over and let gravity kind of, if you're gluing this side, when it's all assembled, work with gravity. So do the bottom, let it set 5 minutes, and then it should tack up enough. You can turn the box on its side and do the bottom and just go around. They have a video out there, you can check it out about how to glue it, but I'm not getting too far into that today. So let's get this box assembled. So now this is just standing up, just basically peeled off the protective layers, and it's just standing up. So now we're going to just put a piece of masking tape on each corner to kind of hold it together so we can apply the glue. Alright, so just put little tapes here and there to hold it together while you set the glue. Now what we're going to do, set it up like that, and then basically glue these 3 sides. Just put a little bead, you don't need too much. Let that set up for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll flip it around, and then do the other 3 seams, and then we'll flip it on its side and do the long seam. You just want to let it set up about 10 minutes between each one. You don't want to do the top and then have gravity, make it run down on the acrylic. So you always want to do, do the bottom, flip it, and then do the bottom, and then flip it. So So what I did is I drilled and tapped another hole, and I'll show you why when assembling this acrylic case. So this is how the top piece fits on. And see these 2 large holes here? That's what they expect you to screw the top of the acrylic case to. Well, for one, I had, mine on the ends, but the reason why I drilled another hole, and I'm going to drill another hole here, is for ones that are just for the acrylic mounting screws, because they give you these standoffs that you're supposed to put, orientate the holes so they're on this side and then over here. But what that means is you'd have to put the pigtail for the balancer underneath that plastic bushing, and then how are you going to hold that eyelet there and then stick this plastic bushing on top and then get it screwed together? So that's the only thing, that's kind of pointless. I know some of you guys won't even use the acrylic top, but I want to, so that's why I did the extra hole. So we have one over here and one over here that we can just set the spacer on there, and then set the acrylic right on top so it has its own hole. Okay, so see what I mean? Now we have our standoffs that are just for mounting the top acrylic, and then the balancing wires are on their own, so you don't have to try to fit the balancing wires to the same stud as these little standoff spacers. So that's the only thing I wish they would have maybe got with the manufacturer and had them drill an extra hole on these for that purpose. Not a big deal, but I'm picky, so you guys don't have to do it, but to me, I just think it's nice. Maybe if they would have told the manufacturer to add an extra hole, then it wouldn't have costed anything, and then that would have solved that problem. Otherwise, you can do it with the eyelet under there, but it's kind of wonky. Like, the case is drying, but I installed this top plate because this doesn't glue, so you can go ahead and install this now. Run the pigtail through it. They give you these standoffs to mount the Heltec board, and it mounts upside down. So once that gets put on, then we can just drop this into the base after 24 hours when it fully cures, and then we will be done. Alright guys, so here is the final result. Very clean looking. That acrylic box actually made it look really nice, and also protects everything. Now you can't drop this thing, but It'll keep any metal from, you know, shorting out or any metal objects touching. Keeps the cells protected. The ends are open, so all your cables are open, but very cool. End up working out really well. So let me hook this thing up to a load tester and show you guys what this thing can do. Alright guys, and what I did is I charged this to 14.6 volts, so it's not, I didn't charge it higher, even though these cells you can technically charge them to like 15.8 or 16 volts. I charged them to about 14.5 because that's, you know, closer to an automotive type setup. So we're going to see the current draw that these things can hold at 12 volts, because technically everybody's shooting to stay above 12 volts. So now no power supply is hooked up, and I charged these yesterday. So this is solely on the battery. So, and just to put it into perspective, a big like Group 27 auto store battery will usually only hold at 12 volts about 250 amps, and at 10 volts maybe 400. So let's see what this thing can do at 12 volts. Amps at 12 volts with no charger, and look how fast it recovers with no charger hooked up. That's crazy. Let's try it again. These things hold some power. Amps. Actually, I went past 1,000 on the gauge. And again, it's already recovering without a charger. So awesome battery bank. I'm going to do a video later comparing these and some other lithium batteries, and also some AGMs, to show you guys an idea of what you get and how, you know, what you get with different types of batteries. But definitely awesome. I have never had even a lithium be able to hold that much amperage. And for the kit, for 950 bucks, I mean, it's actually a great deal. And even if you did, you know, one row, like a 6 cell, if a 6 cell held 500 amps, and again, this is with no charger, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So, alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos comparing these and some different AGM and Life PO4 type batteries.